What is the Light Phone 3? To most random people I encounter, the Light Phone is one of three things. A neat idea. They take the position that you may be a Luddite who's trying to naively reject technology, or it just makes people weirdly uncomfortable. To me, the Light Phone 3 is a mental shift, an opportunity to transcend into a different state of focus and being. How so? That seems a little ostentatious and a little dramatic. Well, for that, we have to explore what the Light Phone can do. It's a phone that can make phone calls and send text messages. It has an alarm clock, a calculator, and a calendar that integrates with Google Calendar or even iCalendar. It's a mobile hotspot for internet access. You can subscribe to podcasts or upload music using MP3 files to the Light Phone. It has a direction tool so you can navigate around town and even cross country. It has a camera to capture memories or important details you don't want to forget. You can write or even speak into the phone to take notes, and it has an easy access light right in the back. Now let's talk about cost. Unlike many free smartphone apps that profit from your attention and data, Light Phone prioritizes privacy. The cost of maintaining your privacy is included in the phone's price, not paid for with your data. I pay for the device with my own money, but after purchasing the Light Phone, Lyca Mobile reached out to me and wanted to collaborate on a project, and I thought the Light Phone would be a perfect fit since I'm a firm believer in using the Light Phone with a new SIM card. Lyca has plans under $20 with plenty of data that you'll need to use the Light Phone. The current price, which they're still calling their pre-order price, on their website is $699. The final retail price of the Light Phone is set to be $799. So if you want to be safe and save the $100, now is the time to buy. You can click the link in the description below if you want to check the live pricing or make a purchase of the Light Phone, or even check out Lyca Mobile. Now, do know that this is a full series. I've done an unboxing, I've shown you how to set up the phone, and I'll even do deep dives into the individual tools like the camera, directions, so definitely stay tuned for the full series if you're considering buying the Light Phone. One question I often get when encountering people who see the Light Phone for the first time is they say, with a phone nearly the cost of a smartphone, why not just use self-control and continue on the phone you already have? At this point in the video, I could insert statistics to show how smartphone use has made society dumber and we should blah, 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 blah. But to me, that's not the point. The Light Phone is a strategic choice. So as a business owner, I'm constantly checking my email for client interactions and new opportunities. It's something that has constantly distracted me from being in the moment with my family. And when I'm not checking my email and text messages, I tend to be thinking about checking my email and text messages. It is my personal dopamine kick. So I don't need self-control, I need to eliminate access. And by eliminating access, I free my mind to not even consider checking email or text messages. And this has provided me with a presence of mind in my life that I have not had since starting my business almost a decade ago. Now, why would you choose to use the Light Phone? Using the Light Phone provides a different physical and mental experience compared to remaining on a smartphone and just simply deleting apps or instituting self-control protocols for myself. The Light Phone 3 is functionally everything I need, and more importantly, don't need to succeed in my personal and professional life. The phone is simple. Texting and phone calls take place in individual threads, with the most recent thread rising to the top. Since this is my personal phone and I activated a brand new SIM card for it, I can nearly guarantee every unknown call is spam, so I can easily block calls to minimize spam over time. Now, call quality is really clear on both speaker and in-ear calls. Personally, I love the large speaker grill design on the bottom of the phone. Now, one feature I love is the speech to text. Since the Light Phone keyboard is different from what I've been using on my iPhone all of these years, I simply can't text as fast as I can on those devices. So I can simply speak to text, which is accurate. However, it's really quick in notating. So if you don't speak quick enough, it'll put a lot of periods into your text messages. So just know what you're gonna say, then speak it, and it should be able to organize it in a way that makes the most sense to the receiver. Now this is the moment I want to provide my personal experience and why I think using the Light Phone with a new SIM is very important. Now I used to use the Light Phone 2 with my SIM card from my iPhone. I took the steps to deactivate iMessage and all my linked devices within the iCloud kind of universe. However, I still experience what I call phantom iPhone. Sometimes my iPhone would still try to capture FaceTime calls or iMessages if the user who was reaching out to me was using an iPhone. And this is no fault of Light Phone, but the main reason I chose to stop using the old Light Phone 2 was because of that situation. This is my main reason for choosing to use my Light Phone 3 on a new fresh SIM card so that I don't run into that situation again. I have a phone that has a dedicated SIM card that is used for the Light Phone specifically. And this also leans into that fact that I can separate work from personal and start to build that out as a structure in my life. Now, Lyca partnered with me on this series. Get started with Lyca Mobile for just $10. Now you'll get 18 gigs of data per month, which includes 10 gigs of high-speed hotspot. Now they also have an unlimited plan starting at just $20. This is my strong recommendation for those who are active on their phones throughout the day, particularly students who want unlimited high-speed data with 15 gigs of high-speed hotspot to share with friends. Now you'll also get the usual Lyca benefits of unlimited talk and text nationwide and to 100 countries, as well as unlimited talk and text if you're in Canada and Mexico. So now I can even chat with Lori from Tech Notice all the way over in the UK. Keep in mind again that this offer is for new customers and only available at lycamobile.com. The best part, they are on one of the nation's best networks, which provides the smoothest compatibility with Light Phone 3. You can use the link in the description below to get started with Lyca for the Light Phone, or perhaps you're just looking for a more affordable plan for your current smartphone. So either way, Lyca provides excellent service at an affordable price. Definitely check out the link in the description below. Now, in a minute, I'm gonna tour the camera for photos and videos, but first I want to dive into my two most practical features, that is the alarm clock and the calendar. The calendar feature was released on the Light Phone 2 in 2023, so it's not a new feature, but essential to making the switch sustainable for me. Back in 2022, when I used the Light Phone 2, I still brought my iPhone along with me during work days, since I rely on my calendar for meetings and general reminders to keep me on track throughout the day. Now that I'm on the Light Phone 3, I've synced my iCalendar directly to my Light Phone. So I can get all of my calendar reminders and even add them to my calendar from my Light Phone. All you have to do is set up an app-specific password and use your account email address, and you're immediately synced into your iCalendar. Now there's also a way to sync your Google Calendar, and they have all the documentation for that as well. Now the alarm feature is incredibly simple. Just set the time and click the alarm button and you're set. Now what's nice is how simple it is to define the volume of your phone calls and text messages versus your alarm. The iPhone has become so extremely complicated. The different do not disturb modes, I can never keep track of them, and honestly, I miss so many phone calls and text messages, and then when I do have it on disturb, sometimes it just rings randomly. With the Light Phone, all I have to do is go into the alarm, and then I just click the button, and that's my alarm volume. And then I can go to my phone, or even just like my general area, and now I'm setting the ringer. It's that simple, it's that easy. Now aligning with the alarm is the timer. I can set one timer at a time. Other devices, you can set multiple timers, different smartphones, but honestly, if you have to keep track of multiple time details, I usually just set calendar reminders, and then all my calendar notifications go off at that point of time. So that's one thing that some people might not like, is you can only set one timer at a time, but to each their own. Okay, let's dive into the Hotspot, podcast, and music, and then I'll show off the directions and the camera. Hotspot is wildly simple. All you have to do is open up your Light Phone, go to Hotspot, turn it on. You have your details, your network, and your password right there. And then you're good to go. Not a huge thing, there's nothing new, but it's still worth noting that the hotspot is there, the connectivity is great, and it works very well. Now, let's go over and switch to podcasts. You can either go into each individual podcast, or you can just see all the lists of the current podcasts, and they sync automatically. So whatever you're subscribed to, you can search podcasts directly on the Light Phone, but it completely updates every time a new one comes out, which is really nice. Now music is a little more, old school. You have the option to download MP3 files and then upload them directly to the Light Phone's internal storage via the dashboard. I don't love this. I kind of wish you could just easily sync to your Spotify account, similar to the iCalendar, but maybe in the future they will do Spotify or some kind of music integration. Just a reminder, don't forget you can click the link in the description below if you want to check the live pricing and make a purchase of the Light Phone 3, or check out Lyca Mobile. Let's explore the Directions app. One important note, You can search across state lines. You just need to be specific and click the expand search radius option when searching. During my unboxing, I thought that perhaps I could only search in my local radius, but upon further exploration, that's not an issue. Now the app starts in your local radius, and then you can easily expand out from there. I can sync my current location quickly, and then the search function is very useful. I can even misspell an entry, and it can manage to catch my intent. Now once the directions are going, I can take phone calls, and my directions tool will still communicate the up and coming turns while in the middle of my conversation.
Quite a bit of a discrepancy there. And then for
now turn right.
Continuation. So it makes sense that if someone is satisfied with their method, they're more likely to continue.
I was concerned that it would disrupt my directions when taking a call, but it was smooth without any hiccups, without any lagginess. This was a hat tip to the programming team at Lyca. Great work on this one. One of the big reasons that the Lyca Phone 3 can be my full stop replacement for the iPhone on my personal time is the camera. The Lyca Phone 2 required my wife to always have her phone or me to bring a full-on, mirrorless camera along for the ride at all times so we wouldn't miss any great memories and opportunities to take some pictures. Now I have a solid camera in my pocket at all times. Let's take a moment to get technical. So what is this camera actually capable of? The sensor is a 50 megapixel sensor, and the default image resolution then outputs that 50 megapixel sensor to a 12 megapixel 4000 by 3000 pixels image, in which 4 adjacent pixels are combined into 1 pixel. Now this helps with low light and achieving an appropriate frame rate. Now on top of the technical capabilities, the camera is very pleasing to use. It's far more reminiscent of using a real camera than a phone camera. The half press shutter button allows you to quickly focus the camera once it locks on, full press to take the picture. So the video feature actually surprised me quite a bit, and I wanted to show y'all what it was like. I'm in the shade here, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk towards the sunlight, and we'll see how it adjusts when I get into the sunlight. This feature really surprised me, and I was very excited that they included it. It just allows that little extra moment when you capture some videos, some memories, and it's good. But there you go, there's it in the lighting. And I'll walk back into the shade. You can hear the audio as well. I'm outside, a grassy area, no wind. And then here's shade, but I did a horizontal rather than vertical, just so you can see how it would frame out if you went horizontal rather than vertical. And I'm really impressed with the audio as well. It's a clear mic. Now again, it's not windy. You could totally shoot videos with this for social posts, content online. You could shoot them and then send them to an editor, or send them to your content team, or use them at a later date. Instead of shooting them and then immediately going to social, it's just an opportunity to be in the moment, taking a video, and then back to your life. So I think it's a nice separation. You have to pull these off and load them onto your computer to use them, but really good. The colors are rich, the images are crisp, but I've even noticed a slight grain depending on the lighting scenario, which reminds me of shooting on 35mm film. It's a pleasing artistic grain that we who have loved shooting on film cameras for years enjoy so much. And so it's really cool to see the light being very much a step into simplicity, coming in with some of that nostalgia. Now, Lyca worked hard to get the camera coloring just right. You can review the post on their blog to dive into all the details, but I can say that their hard work definitely paid off, and the image quality and the color is fantastic. It's been about 2 years since I tried the Lyca Phone 2, and I forgot how reliant I am on my smartphone at a basic level. I also might need to carry cash more often, because last night we went to my son's cross-country race and it cost $5 per adult to enter the sports complex. I had neither cash nor smartphone to pay the entry fee with a mobile payment. Now I knew the cost ahead of time, but again, I just wasn't prepared. Full disclosure, I'm not 100% Lyca Phone. My job is posting things on YouTube and LinkedIn for myself and clients. So there are a lot of things that I need my iPhone for, and I don't see that going away quickly. It will take time to unravel myself from an iPhone first work life. You gotta think about, two-factor authentication. And even my RGB lights for my YouTube channel thumbnails, they have to be controlled via iPhone app. My iPhone stays in my backpack. Step one, I try to solve the situation with my laptop. If that doesn't work, then I'll pull out my iPhone, solve the situation, maybe two-factor authentication, maybe set my lights, and then move back to the laptop or my Lyca Phone. Honestly, I've never had a work phone and a personal phone, but I really like it. And the degrees of separation, both mentally and physically, are very pleasant. And that, my personal phone, is distraction-free, has been very healthy for my home life the past 4 weeks. For me, one of Light's statements rings true: to flourish as the most thoughtful and intentional version of yourself. And that's what going light means to me. I want to give a huge thanks to Lyca for partnering with me on this series about the Light phone. You can check out their plans if you're looking for a Light phone SIM, or perhaps just a more affordable plan for your current smartphone. So you can use the links in the description below to learn more or get started with Lyca. And also, if you want to check out the Light phone, you want to see the live pricing or make a purchase, you can also check out the links in the description below as well. I'll see you guys in the next video in this series.